Hey friends, welcome back to She's At It Again. My name's Tanya, and we're going to do double recipes in this video. First of all, the thing I want to show you how to make is a dry ranch mix. And what that means is you can use it for ranch dressing, you can use it for ranch dip, you can use it for ranch seasoning on whatever you want. You can season potatoes, whatever you like ranch flavor on. So anyway, you need something flavored ranch, this is your mix. So this does not contain any preservatives, any artificial anything. This is just spices and seasoning from our natural food store here. So I go and buy these in bulk. You can go buy these at your supermarket if you want. They're easy enough to find. If you want organic, you have that choice too. So we're going to then use that recipe to make some ranch dressing at the end of this video or toward the end of this video. Then the next video that I'll make is for something using the ranch dressing. So we're just going to build on this. So we'll do the dry ranch mix, then we'll do ranch dressing, and then we'll do a recipe using the ranch dressing in it. So stick with us and we hope you enjoy. Okay, I have all my ingredients set out here in a row. I went to my natural food store yesterday and collected all the ingredients for this, except for one. I couldn't find it, and that was, I think it was onion salt, maybe. There was actually parsley in the mix and I didn't want that in there. So we're going to take our just clear glass container, and I recommend using a glass container because you'll want to see what's in this. Don't put it in something like a cottage cheese container or some kind of tub of some kind where you can't see it. And if you have a canning jar, that makes a great one too, but I like to put it in a larger one because we're going to kind of be tumbling this around and get it all mixed together. Don't put it in something where it just barely fits. Okay, first ingredients is a cup of parsley flakes. These are just dried parsley flakes. These are organic. I think everything I have here is organic. Minced onions is our next ingredient. And we need a half cup of minced onions. This takes quite a bit. So the thing I have against packaged ranch dressing mix is most of it contains monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate is not a flavor. It does not have a flavor to it. It is not a preservative. It is not a whatever somebody's out there making up. Monosodium glutamate is a flavor enhancer. It does not have a flavor on its own. It makes your tongue and the receptors on your tongue think it's receiving more flavor. But in actuality, what it is, it just makes you want to receive more flavor. So you wind up eating more of it. So all that being said, some people have an adverse reaction to monosodium glutamate. I kind of think I do. When I don't, years ago when I figured out I was kind of having a reaction to it, I stopped eating it, and it seems like my symptoms kind of went away. So anyway, it's not something really anybody needs to eat, but it's just one of those marketing things. It's just part of marketing. Next ingredient is 2 tablespoons of dill weed. This is dried dill weed. Just looks light and airy. It almost looks like little wispy blades of grass, little teeny tiny blades of artificial grass. And it smells like a pickle. Next ingredient is a half a cup of onion salt. And I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But trust me, when it all goes together, it's great. Okay. Next ingredient is a half a cup of garlic salt. And this is one of the ones I had to buy from our big box store just because I don't think our natural food store had this for some reason. I'm not sure why. Okay, yeah, garlic salt. So we're going to need a half cup. And if you're any of your ingredients have kind of lumpy things in them, be real careful because it'll kind of sneak out of that jar before you know it, and then you'll have way too much in there. So that pretty much used everything in that jar. Next one is 1/4 cup of onion powder. Now we used onion salt before. This is just onion powder. And this is one of those things that kind of gets lumpy if you don't use it pretty often. And I love the smell of onion powder. I never thought I'd say that. I didn't even know what onion powder smelled like growing up, but now that I started using it a lot more, it just has a great flavor to it. It's almost like a roasted onion, how it definitely smells different than a raw onion. Very pleasant. Okay, 1/4 cup of garlic powder is our next ingredient. And guess what? That's it. That is all the ingredients in this. We have 7 ingredients in this dry ranch mix. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give this a stir. You can put a lid on it, shake it up. Don't let the lid come off. But this is, it has a lot of light, airy ingredients in it. So what you'll want to do is stir it up, or if you shake it up, leave the lid on it for a while and let it settle back down so it doesn't just kind of float away into the air, because it will rest on your countertops, and then you'll have that garlic powder smell everywhere, which isn't always a bad thing, but that's probably not what you want your kitchen to smell like. So this can be stored in a jar, in an airtight container in your pantry. It almost stores indefinitely, because after all, these are dried, dehydrated seasonings and herbs and spices that come from the store, and that's how they're stored there. So at this point, we're going to get this mixed up or shaken up, and then when we come back, which will be after a little while, because I'm actually expecting a phone call and I can't hear the calls come in if I'm using my phone to film with, and that's what I'm doing right now, but I just remembered it right before I turned it on, so I've got to take this phone call. We'll come back after a while and we will make some ranch dressing, so that'll be kind of fun, so stick with us. All right, here comes the fun part. We are now going to use our dry ranch mix, and we're going to make some dressing with it. Of course, it's ranch dressing. So the first thing we want to do is pour our buttermilk in our container. All this is going to be is mayonnaise, and if you'll remember my video on homemade mayonnaise, we'll put up a link to that so you can refer back to that if you'd rather have something, a better choice in mayonnaises, because a lot of them on the markets, I'd say 99 and higher percentage of those have soybean oil, and even if it says olive oil is a secondary oil. Soybean is the main ingredient, and most soybean crops are GMO. I come from a family of soybean farmers, and I know this to be very accurate. So all that being said, if you don't care, use what you have. If you'd rather have something that's a better choice and make your own mayonnaise, we'll give you the link to that and you can make your own. So we're going to start with our buttermilk, but I'm only going to make half a batch. Now normally what you do is add 1 cup of buttermilk, 1 cup of mayonnaise, and a tablespoon of the dry ranch mix to a bowl, and that's going to be your dressing. I don't need that much dressing. We don't normally eat a lot of ranch dressing at our house, but I'm going to make something later on, and that'll be in the next video, that's going to use about a cup of ranch dressing. So we're only going to make a cup of it. So we're going to start out with half a cup of buttermilk. And we're going to put a half of a tablespoon of our dry mix in there. Now this is what the dry mix looks like. Let me make sure I'm getting a good view of this. This is what our dry mix looks like. If you want to put this in a food processor or a blender and blend it up super powdery, that's totally up to you, and that's fine. I kind of like to have those bigger pieces of parsley flakes in mine. I just think it gives it more visual appeal. So about a half a tablespoon of our dry mix. And I'll put this in a canning jar later on. I'm not going to leave it in that container. And then I've measured out half a cup of mayonnaise. Now this is what I keep my homemade mayonnaise in. This is the one I made just, I think it was last week. I made a couple of batches of mayonnaise. So we're going to put this in there. I don't just willy-nilly use mayonnaise like I do a lot of things just because I don't like taking the time to make the mayonnaise. It's not that it's hard. It doesn't even take 10 minutes to get it all done, but it's just a matter of I have to stop and measure out ingredients. So you know how that goes. So I try to make at least 2 batches at a time, maybe 3 jars, about that size worth. But I think twice before putting a very large blob of mayonnaise on anything. Sometimes I've even skipped over recipes, fill a cup and a half of mayonnaise in a recipe, and I'm like, no, I don't need that bad. And I'm certainly not going to try a new recipe if it looks a little bit sketchy and it uses a lot of mayonnaise, because it is not worth me wasting my good mayonnaise for. All right, let's put that over to the side, and all we're going to do is just stir this in. Now, I wouldn't use this immediately, and for obvious reasons, you're going to want a lot of those things in there, like the salt and the garlic salt and the onion salt in there to dissolve in the liquid. But you're also going to want the parsley flakes to rehydrate and just make the flavor better. If you ate it like this, it would be a little gritty because of the seasonings in there, just having that gritty texture to them like the salts. But if you'll let it at least rest in the refrigerator a few hours, it would turn into that smooth, creamy consistency. And I dare say, I believe that anybody that tries this is going to discover, I've been eating store-bought ranch dressing. That's not near as good as this. This is by far a much superior product in taste and quality, but the taste is probably going to blow your mind. Without the help of monosodium glutamate. That's the good part. Okay, I'm going to pour this into just a little pint jar, and it should fit in there pretty good. All right, and we're good to go. That lid fits on there perfectly, and I'll get the rest of that out and put it in a little tiny container. You know I'm not going to waste that. So here's what our dressing looks like. I'll make sure I'm getting that in the camera. I always put it too low. I don't know why. This does not look like it should be having a good shot, but it is. Okay, that's our dressing. Thank you for watching, and remember, the next video we're going to use something, or we're going to make a recipe and use this in it, and that is going to be that's going to be a good thing. You could use it as a salad, you could use it as a full meal, and that's all I'm going to tell you about it for right now. It's going to be good. So hope to see you then, and we look forward to sharing something else with you then. Thanks for joining us. Okay, friends, I wanted to share one more thing with you. This container that I made makes roughly 2.5 cups of dry mix. So all in all, that's going to make about 40 servings of ranch dip or ranch dressing. Now that's if you use full recipes. That's if you use a cup of mayonnaise and a cup of buttermilk to make the dressing, or if you use a cup of sour cream and the 1 tablespoon of dry mix to make the ranch dip. So either way you look at it, you're looking at about 40, what would be 40 packets of dry ranch dressing mix. That comes to about 3 cents per serving, or 3 cents per tablespoon, because I roughly spent $12 at the most at our local natural food store, and that's for all the spices. Now there was one spice that I did not buy there, not a spice, but well, yeah, I guess it is. It was the onion salt, and the only reason is because they put parsley in theirs, and I already had parsley in the mix, and I just didn't want more to it. So I just made my own out of onion powder and salt. So, but roughly, I spent about $12 on this entire thing. So these are great for gift giving. Just put them in little jars with instructions on how to make ranch dip and ranch dressing. Again, 1 tablespoon of this mix plus 1 cup of sour cream, good quality sour cream, makes ranch dip. And if you want to make ranch dressing, it's 1 tablespoon of the dry mix, this mix that we just made, and 1 cup of buttermilk and 1 cup of good quality mayonnaise. So easy recipe, great product, inexpensive to make it yourself. Quit spending, I don't even know how much ranch dressing costs per package. I was going to rattle off some number, and I thought, that's dumb. I can't even remember the last time I bought that. It had to be, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. I just don't remember buying it because I remembered at the time thinking, I'm not buying something with MSG in it. I just absolutely refused to. So I had to figure out how to make my own. So anyway, good cost saver. So anyway, just a better decision all the way around. So I hope you give this a try. If you need to divide the ingredients in half and just make half a batch of it, just go with that just to see if you like it. But I promise you're going to. So I'm hoping that I hear some comments about how you made it and you tried it. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.